Yat kumen sim jong nga. My real name is not Timmy actually. My real name is Ambrose Timothy, but I'm usually known as Timmy. Official names means that is a name used in school, in colleges, even in my workplace. But as a musician, I'm known as Timmy. At present, I'm a vocalist of the band Snow White, and I'm working as an engineer in the department of Public Works department. So you can say that I'm a singing engineer. You see, music, basically, it has not been initially my passion, so to say. Just like listening to music like any other person, you know. Usually in the olden days, I don't know whether probably you have not lived those days, or maybe during the 80s, you were there? Great. You know, during the 80s, 85, 86, till 88, I remember that my uncles, three of my uncles, they were musicians. I was with a local band. In fact, we didn't name that band. We were just a group of people, you know, coming together, and then we just played in a part-time shows. Like I said, when my uncles they were playing, then you know, in between the intervals and all, we hop in and then we play some music there. We didn't name the band, so that was the first one. Innocent Eyes was the second band. And there are so many bands that probably I will not be able to remember each and every one of them, because the bands that I remember is Innocent Eyes, the first band that was formed in 1989. That was about 35 years ago. Yeah. And then I was after I left Innocent Eyes, I was with Tribal Instinct. I don't know if you've heard Tribal Instinct. A bunch of guys, we got together, and then three of the guys, they were from Nagaland. One from Dimapur, and two guys from Kohima. Because Snow White was already in existence when I was with the band in Tune. And Joe Macador, Joe was the main singer of Snow White. Actually, Joe is one of the co-founder member of Snow White. Joe, then Don Rentatia, and Jimmy, late Jimmy. Jimmy passed away. Jimmy the drummer. So these three guys, they were the main co-founder member of the band Snow White. They formed the band Snow White. Snow White was formed in 1999. So in 1999, I was still somewhere around with Rebel Souls, and then sometimes with Rebel Souls and with Intune as well. After Rebel Souls, I had a band. I cannot remember the name of the band, but we were guys from different communities. A guy from Bangalore, and who plays the drum, and then a guy from Guwahati who plays the keyboard. I don't know if you've heard of Nupur. So we had the Walkman and we had the cassettes. So those guys, what they do is, if they do some selection, I do my selection here, and then they do their own selections. Then they dubbed it in a tape, a cassette tape. Then they send it, but they don't send it through post, because otherwise it will reach you after maybe 2-3 weeks, you know. So what they do is, we use the buses. The buses that travel from Guwahati to Shillong, or from Dimapur to Shillong, you know, we use those drivers to pass on, and I give them what I've ever picked from Shillong and then pass it to them. So that is how they rehearse at their own place, and I rehearse out here all alone, just listening to it, just listening. And those days, we don't have like instant lyrics. I have to sit maybe sometimes the whole night and write lyrics, and then the next morning when you wake up, you look at the lyrics and then you try to listen it again. Something is wrong. Then probably you have to do like maybe 5 to 10 times corrections of the lyrics. See, I would say hats off to Mr. Don Rendatiang, and also my right hand, Mr. Manful Sandondo. call him my right hand because I miss Timmy. I feel as if I don't have my right hand anymore. They brought in this this idea of fusing the traditional instruments, but somehow not exactly playing the traditional way. Bring it to the swing, of course misunderstood rock, I should say. Yeah. But later on it became very famous. So it's really a brilliant idea, I'm telling you. It's like the song Rang Rajit, no? A White Rang Rajit. I mean, that is brilliant because it has that, the groove, the shredded guitar part, and then, it has that traditional groove as well. Groove of the nakra. Yeah. And when I was with Snow White later on, I had to rework with all these songs. Because those days, I'm telling you that White Rang Rajit was not there. It was only Maulan Nai. This Maulan Nai it's also a traditional because they use the ksing. Not the nakara, but the ksing they use. So like I said, we don't have technologies where we can do these changes like abrupt. We have to take time, like for one song, maybe 1-2 weeks, it takes time. Today I'm writing notes this way, tomorrow it changes. So that's how we do it. That's how I did it. That was the most memorable because we got to perform our own songs, and especially featuring the song White Urang Rajit and the song Yak Kumunsian and the song Turshapran. Okay, these three. And singing in front of 40,000 crowds. So that was like massive, So the most memorable because even people they remember that performance. They remember because that's the first time they hearing the traditional rock music in our own dialects. That I would say that is the most memorable. Of course, with Mr. Big also we did. That is also one of the memories. But with Firehouse, I would say that is the most memorable. We never had professional training. Schools, they never had singing classes. Forget about colleges. We never have all these, the music department that we see today. We don't have. We don't have even proper vocal trainer, so to say. We don't have. And I was never trained. Nothing else. And then some breathing, some tummy exercises. All these, like physical, kept myself physically fit as much as possible so that I can have the strength and stamina. Because singing those days on stage, you have to sing 60 songs. 60 songs in one show. That's the minimum. Because in feats we have a request. Request means what? One song you have to sing 10 times. And you sing it the way you have to do it. Those days, there were no improvisation. There's no room for improvisation. People want to hear the song as it is.
Exactly.
Okay? You miss, no, he misses there, That's what.
Because in some of the feats, they actually pay you through the request.
Yes, we get paid from the request. Those days, the request is 20 rupees like per song, per head. So how much will you get from that?
Yeah, instant it's like 50 rupees. Like
Yeah.
They pay the next.
See, like in one night show, the whole band get paid 2,000, 2,500. These days, even a single artist will not be, be paid that much. But the whole band is being paid that much. So you can imagine. So we had a very difficult time, and I had a very difficult time, maintaining my vocal cord. Very difficult time. Prior to the demise of Jimmy, we had plans doing a second album. We had songs, but then when Jimmy passed away, it was a big hurdle because we need a replacement. So it took us, like 8 to 9 years to find a person to fit in. So we lost a lot of time. And then, in the meantime, me and Manful, we were, doing some composition. We still have his composition, and we still play even in shows these days as well. We have new songs in Khasi, and Then when we were on the verge of doing some more new recordings, then Manful passed away. And that's the biggest hurdle of all. Finding a replacement for Manful is like, sometimes I felt those days that it's like a no. I'm not saying that there are no good guitarists and so on. There are. But the attachment, I've worked with Manful, so I know. Like when I'm telling I need this, I can get it. It's like when he needs what he wants, so I can give it to him. So that is how we work. That means the chemistry is very strong. Okay. So to get a replacement in that way, it is not that easy. So it took us another almost 10 years. Of course now we have. So we have lost nearly almost 19 years. Trying to find a replacement.
His son is also playing now.
Pardon?
His son is
Has his own band. He's just like his father, versatile. He's versatile. He's more than his father. Yeah. But he got it from his father. Manful is like, he can play the guitar, he can play the bass, he can play the keyboards. And he can also sing. But not, of course, like a main upfront singer, but he can do backups. So his son got it from him. So we have seen, and then we have gone through very hard experience when it comes to music those days. Okay, we never had good sound system. We have to manage our own sound system. We have to do our own mixing. We never had that, what we call the stereo mix. Okay, it was like very raw, I would say. We have a mono amplifiers. We did the the wiring, joining each and every points. It's not like a jack-in kind of thing. No, we didn't have all that. Yeah, we had wires. We use our teeth sometimes, take out the wire and then put them together. So we have, and then even the sound system we have to unload from the trunk and we have to put it back. So we're doing both the physical work and then torturing mental also, and then torturing the vocal cord at the end of the day. So, but it's fun, of course, it's fun. So that is the experience we had. And then when I personally look at the contrast between the technology that we had then and now, I see that there's a big difference. And youth right now, I would say they are in the best phase of whatever generation, whatever genre they are playing in music. They have the best sound system. How many sound system we had in Shillong those days? One. Bari Khongla. Just one. Now we have many sound engineers. We have many good systems. Our youth have very fine talent. But these days, finding a real talent is very difficult. I'm telling you. Some may disagree with me, some may agree. But it is difficult to find real talent. Those days I would say that you can really see talent in a person. Because everything is just raw. Nowadays I'm telling you that they should use their talent as they should. Why I'm saying as they should? I'm seeing most of the performance these days, technology has overtaken. It has overtaken the talent. Mind you can be a singer. You go to the studio and then you sing any song and then what? You didn't get the note right? Don't worry. I have the computer here. I have my laptop. I just shift the note here and there. I mean, it's easy, yes, of course. Okay. It adds up to something, to make it more qualitative. Okay. But where is the talent? Now what happens is, when it comes to live singing, I've been to shows just lately last year. And there were shows, I'm not mentioning names, there were shows that, youths whom I consider them very talented. When they do live shows, what I hear is auto-tune, I'm sorry, I have to say it. Mostly auto-tune and mostly lip syncing. I mean, what is this? You call that a live performance? Come on. I don't call that a live performance. Don't make a fool of yourself. Don't make a fool of the people listening to you. I'm sorry to say, but I have to say it. Because I don't want our youth, to really be fully dependable on technology. First, you have to depend on your own talent, your own self. Use your brain, use your mind, use your concept. At least put in more of your hard work and use lesser of technology. I'm not saying that you do away with the whole thing. As technology advances, it is good. In our days when we were doing recordings, we had cassettes. So I'm telling the youth, I'm telling those who really have the talent, that they use the talent the way they should. Please do not be dependable on technology. Otherwise, there will come a time when you will not be able to identify talent. How will you identify talent? How? Especially for singers and live performers. How are you gonna differentiate between a studio work and a live work? Because these two are two different things. They cannot be same. I think when you see the shows like international shows, you listen to the live and then you listen to the recording. There's a big difference. It can never be ditto. So that's why I'm saying, don't make a fool of yourself and don't fool the listeners. Probably the listeners will be, they'll know more than me doing the performance on the stage. You have many facilities ranging from music schools, ranging from college departments. You have music department. You can have a graduation in your music. You can be a bachelor degree holder in music. But ultimately, if you are dependable on the technology, then I don't see that all your studies and your talent has to do anything to showcase. Xin tiêu bla mong u yam pang no u breu bla yap ju giao du tu yang khen rao to pe cha jingai ya ki dak mong ban pin pernai ya kat cha ba phi mon ya cô men sim jong